So you're going to move in with someone, or let them move in with you. You have heard some talk about cohabitation agreements, but that seems incredibly unromantic. But is it really necessary? For some people, having a cohabitation agreement results in a more steady, predictable, and long-lasting relationship. For others, it can result in savings of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and also avoids a lot of bitterness about how family law works. For others, a cohabitation agreement does nothing at all. So in this episode of the Ontario Family Law Podcast, I'm going to explain what cohabitation agreements can do and when they make enough sense to get one despite how unromantic they may seem, and when they make no sense, so there is no need to kill the mood. I'm Judge Schuman, a certified specialist in family law in Ontario with extensive experience assisting clients with high or complex incomes. I'm also a mediator, arbitrator, and collaborative lawyer. I have a best-selling book, The Guide to the Basics of Ontario Family Law. The new 5th edition has up-to-date information on all common family law issues and lots of information about cohabitation agreements and marriage contracts. It is available on the iBookstore, Amazon, and in fine bookstores. Asking for a cohabitation agreement can seem like it is so unromantic, it could even kill the relationship. It seems like a difficult, if not painful thing to bring up with a romantic partner. Is it really something that you need to do before you move in with someone else? To start off, having practiced family law for more than 20 years, it is clear to me that people who have cohabitation agreements or marriage contracts make up an extremely small percentage of people who come to me after separating. Much fewer people than the number who get these contracts. People who get cohabitation agreements or marriage contracts have to give serious thought to what their relationship means. Consequently, they go into the relationship with an understanding and plan for the future. That helps make the relationship successful. And even if it is not successful, the spouses have created a plan that avoids a lot of the nastiness that happens in some separations. So if a cohabitation agreement helps partners plan their relationship, what can a cohabitation agreement do? There are 3 main types of issues that can be addressed in a cohabitation agreement. First, setting or limiting spousal support obligations. Second, determining how property will be divided. And third, setting responsibilities, especially financial responsibilities for each spouse during the relationship. Spousal support is where being common law matters under the family law legislation. It is also under that legislation that the legal definition of common law is very different than many people think. It is different from under other form of laws too. To be common law for family law purposes, the partners must have lived together for 3 years. Although living together does not mean living in the same residence. If you have a serious relationship that is almost or over 3 years old, speak to a good family lawyer. Or, the partners must have lived together for any period of time and be the natural or adoptive parents of a child. If you don't meet that definition, then you can't get or have to pay spousal support in a common law relationship. If you look up what a support calculator says your spousal support obligation is, that doesn't matter. But as soon as you meet the definition, you may be on the hook for spousal support, and that number could be big. Eventually, it will get to be half of your income. Married couples can be on the hook for spousal support right away. I should note that when a couple has children, it can be very hard to get out of spousal support because of the sacrifices associated with having children. There is still an issue as to how much spousal support should be. I did an earlier audio episode on spousal support, but my book goes over spousal support and what determines how much spousal support will be owed, starting on page 135. Another great source for family law information is this podcast, so please subscribe to get more episodes. Hit the like button and click on the notification bell to get the latest episodes. It really also helps out the channel so that more episodes will come your way. But keep in mind that having a cohabitation agreement can save you a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars over a lifetime of spousal support. So if you will be the partner with the bigger income, a cohabitation agreement is a very good idea. If you aren't going to stay together for more than 3 years, and you aren't going to have kids together, and your incomes are the same or you have the lower income, and it is unlikely that your partner will lose their job or get sick, then you don't need a cohabitation agreement unless you have assets to protect. If you are the one entering a common law relationship or marriage, and you have assets or you expect to have assets, then you need to speak to a lawyer about whether you need a cohabitation agreement or a marriage contract. Married spouses share the growth in their assets. I went over how that works in episode 85. Even more important, a married spouse may have to share half of a matrimonial home that he or she brought into the marriage, even if it was fully paid off before the marriage. So that's a time when a marriage contract is really important. In episode 97, and starting at page 164 of my book, I explained how common law spouses can claim to own the other common law spouse's property or stuff because he or she helped pay for or put work into it. If you are living in a home with a common law partner and you don't want them to ask a judge to say that that partner owns your home, you need a cohabitation agreement to protect yourself. If you lose title to assets because you lived with someone, or if you have to make a big property payment because you married someone, even for a short time, then you will really wish you had a marriage contract or a cohabitation agreement. If you and your partner will always be renting your home, and you won't be accumulating much in terms of assets, then you don't need a cohabitation agreement. If you want to know about all the ways that you can lose assets in your divorce or separation, check out episode 94. There are also a lot of other episodes that cover the mistakes people make that cost them tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And there are many more to come. So please subscribe. Please like this video if you found it helpful. And hit the notification bell to find out as soon as new episodes come out. The final reason you may want a cohabitation agreement is to set out who is going to pay for what while you live together. That can become a source of a lot of conflict in relationships. But if you have a written agreement, then it is very clear who is paying for what. And you and your partner have set out what is fair, so that's not a source of argument down the road. You can also enforce the agreement in court if you have to, so that you can get back from your partner all the things that he or she was supposed to pay for but did not. Anyone who expects to make more than his or her partner, or who expects to own more than his or her partner, or has assets to protect, should speak to a family lawyer about a cohabitation agreement or a marriage contract. Those contracts can also help the partner arrange their affairs while they are together. They may not seem romantic, but they can really help partners plan their life together and build a solid foundation for a long-lasting relationship. If you still want to be romantic with your partner when you are old, then the cohabitation agreement can be the way to go. If you're not sure, speak to a family lawyer to understand better. Or if you're finding family law or children's law confusing or difficult, or if you need to understand it better, or you need to know how best to make parenting work after separation, or if you need to understand how finances work during a marriage or common law relationship and after separation or divorce, get the latest edition of my best-selling book, Guide to the Basics of Ontario Family Law. You can access it immediately on the iBookstore, on Amazon for the Kindle version. Amazon can deliver the paperback version directly to your doorstep. You can also get a lot more Ontario family law information on www.schumanlaw.ca. Not only are there hundreds of pages of family law information and links, but there are links to get my book and links to reach my office to meet with either me or one of my colleagues. You can also contact us to make an appointment to speak to us using the contact information in the description below. And it is always best to get a lawyer who can give you expert advice that's specific to your situation. In addition to my website, keep up to date on family and children's law issues by liking my Facebook page, following me on Twitter or X and Mastodon at Schuman Family Law, and finding me on LinkedIn. I'm also on Threads. Of course, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to keep up to date. You can get the audio versions of the Ontario Family Law podcast on all major podcast services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and many more. Or you can get all the episodes at www.schumanlaw.ca. Just look for podcasts in the drop-down menu. Thanks for participating in this podcast. We will get together again soon.